If your work league is a cakewalk and you're a 3-time champ in your friends and family league, why not grow a set and take on some real competition? The SleeperWire Pro-Am is the next big challenge for you so-called fantasy experts. The Pro-Am pits fantasy industry professionals like the Fantasy Football Fellas, Eat Sleep Fantasy Podcast, Marcus Grant from the NFL, and Roto expert Jake Seeley against you, the listener. Guaranteed to be one of the most fun, active, and competitive leagues you'll ever be in. Here's how to get into the Pro-Am. Visit SleeperWire.com/Pro-Am. Read about our cause and make a donation to our charity's GoFundMe to help our friend Rob overcome chronic Lyme disease. For every $10 denomination you donate, you'll get one entry into a raffle to become a listener manager. So, donate $30, get 3 chances. Just make sure to fill out the form on the webpage so we can keep track of your entries. We'll do the drawing closer to the season start and get you in a league that you will love against your favorite experts and fellow SleeperWire fans. Visit SleeperWire.com/Pro-Am today.
I'm ready for run. Welcome, everybody, to the SleeperWire show. Today is Thursday, April 12th. I'm your host, Professor Chris, and with me I have 2 SleeperWire greats, our Prophet Hus and Money Max. How's it going, fellas?
What is up? What's up, Max?
What is up? Long time.
Money. What's up, kid?
I don't want people thinking I'm getting that from Manziel, but I just play Moneyball as a GM.
No, little known fact that Manziel actually got it from you.
Yeah,
that's what I heard. That's what I heard.
We're homies, so I gave him that nickname. I was like, dude, you can have it. You need the marketing. You need the PR.
Sold it down.
It's all you.
We're
down, brother.
Anyway, so I'm glad you guys are doing well. Max, it's been a while since we talked on the show together. It's good to have you back.
I'm excited to be back. I've missed it. I've missed it a lot.
We have missed you too. And today we are doing a 12-team PPR mock draft episode. Well, we usually start off the show with a quick question, but today we're going to kick it off with 2 email questions that we got. So our first 2 email questions of the offseason. So kicking off here with Gary. He says, hey, regular listener to the podcast, keeper questions, full PPR, 12-team league, 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, 1 flex, that's either running back or wide receiver, and you keep 2 players forever. So you have Antonio Brown, AJ Green, Keenan Allen, Dalvin Cook, and Joe Mixon. And before you guys answer, hell of a team there, Gary.
Yeah.
Brown, Green, Allen, Cook, Mixon, that's a great team, especially in PPR.
All right.
Yep, and then he says, I also have picks 36 and 37. He's the 12th pick after his keeper selections. Thoughts on a suggested strategy for the 3rd and 4th round picks, the 36 and 38, for the upcoming season. So first, let's talk about the 2 players that you can keep forever. So once again, Antonio Brown, AJ Green, Keenan Allen, Dalvin Cook, and Joe Mixon. Max, what 2 guys are you going to keep forever?
The 2 I would keep forever would be Dalvin Cook and Antonio Brown. I know I'm not the biggest Cook fan, but the Vikings are going in the right direction. And Latavius Murray, who I do think will steal snaps from Cook, I think he's just going to be the veteran back there.
I don't know. I have a harder time saying Cook, even though he is young.
I just think it's a better team than Mixon.
I mean, but you don't have to keep a running back,
right?
But that's the thing, though. I would rather keep a running back over a receiver because I think we've seen year after year receivers emerge. You can plug and play receivers more than you can plug and play running backs.
Like an AJ Green, though. I mean, we
AJ Green
get
is
Alex
fantastic.
Collins. We pay attention. We can get at Alex Collins if we pay attention.
You can get an Alex Collins if you pay attention, but you can also get Adam Thielen if you pay attention.
Yeah, but chances are he's probably on some
PPR. Like if you look at the 49ers with Gabriel, I look at him. Pierre Garçon's not going to be kept if he doesn't retire.
You mean Goodwin?
Be a good option to draft.
Gabriel's in Chicago.
Oh, good. Sorry, Goodwin. Sorry, both speed guys. But for me, in PPR, receivers are easier to come by that hold such value. With Jerick McKinnon being out of Minnesota, Dalvin Cook is going to be the check down running back and the future lead back as we see it right now.
Yeah,
so to me, Dalvin Cook holds that air.
I just feel like they're still going to be a big passing team. They just got John DeFilippo. The team was second in red zone scoring percentage just last year when he was on the Eagles. That's just behind New England and Green Bay, 3rd and 4th respectively. And Murray had 842 yards last year and 8 touchdowns and 12 touchdowns the year before. So, I mean, they're still paying him.
Truther last year.
Exactly. So where are you, Max? I mean, come on.
Where am I?
AJ Green is just 29 years old. He had a down year, and he still was the number 10 receiver in a PPR league.
So, does that mean you're going with Green and Cook?
No, he's definitely taking Brown.
Give me Green and Brown here. And what I'm doing with those other picks, I'm definitely going to try to grab some backs. Everyone's probably going to be taking backs. So you're going to have to, kind of hit the home run with your third and fourth round picks because there may not be that many left because you probably have a lot of people keeping backs. But, pay attention. There's going to be some rookies. It's just a lot of time left right here. The backs, I don't know, they're injured. Give me sure things.
Poos, the issue I have is, as Chris can attest, being a fantasy baseball player, I've played in many more keeper leagues for baseball than I have for football. And with baseball, if there's a young guy who has a chance of having a spark of being an elite player or a spark of being an everyday player, he's the guy who's taken first. Because I was just thinking, I can probably grab Cook in the fourth. He got hurt last year. But no,
there's no way
he won't be there in the fourth.
No, he's going to be in
or the third
round.
He's going to be taken in the first round.
So.
No, he's taken
first round.
Yeah, in a keeper, in a keeper league, yes.
Oh, in the keeper, yeah. All right.
Yeah, if he's thrown back, he's being taken in the first round easily.
Your running backs can be few and far in between. You can plug and play PPR wide receivers much easier than running backs.
I get both of you guys' arguments. That's just my play style. I just feel like AJ is a little bit safer than Cook. He's just coming off an injury, and Murray's still there. They're still paying him. They have a new coordinator that likes to pass. That's really good at red zone. Versus they're good at that. All
right, I'm going to cut in here. I forgot how much you two argue when you're on a show together. I love it, but
just play
you have a whole show.
You got to move.
So I'm going to do mine real quick. For those of you who are listening, if it's your first time listening, Max I draft running back in the early rounds only, for the most part. Hus in PPR is a wide receiver guy. You can get your Theo Riddicks and everything later. Yep. I'm a mix, so I'm going to go third here. So I actually, I agree with Max instead of Hus for once, which is weird.
Oh, my God, it's Christmas.
This is weird.
Right? Yeah, so I'm going to go with Antonio Brown and Dalvin Cook as well. I think that if, we're doing a mock draft here in a little bit. I am not happy with any of my teams if I don't have a stud running back in the first 2 rounds. I just don't like my team. And Dalvin Cook, he's young and he's fantastic. Antonio Brown, still going to be, he's still going to be Antonio Brown. But in my opinion, you have to get one of those top running backs. So that's just my 2 cents. So we have Antonio Brown and Dalvin Cook, 2 votes for that, and then Hus, Antonio Brown and AJ Green. Really, you can't go wrong. Let's get to this last part of the question real quick, though. So not debating each other's picks, but Max, you took Antonio Brown and Dalvin Cook. You have the last pick starting in the draft and the first pick in the next round. Who are you taking? What's your strategy there? Maybe what position are you focused on?
What position would I like to target? Now that I locked down arguably the best receiver in the NFL, especially in PPR, in the first round, I'm going to try to do wraparound running backs. And I know this is my thing, but wraparound running backs with the idea to trade one. So my intention would be if they're there, if people try to attack wide receivers in the first round because they want to load up heavy, I would try to steal the 2 highest rating running backs and then go to the team who has no one and maybe turn my high second round pick into his first round wide receiver, or turn my high second round pick into his third and fourth round wide receivers who will probably be very good, or just ride it out with 3 running backs and have the best run game in the league. Because running back consistency, in my eyes, is far more reliable than wide receiver.
I like it. Hus, you took Brown and Green. What are you doing in the rounds 3 and 4?
Yeah, I'm going to take the similar strategy, obviously, since I have 2 wide receivers that are really, really good. I'm going to take some running backs here. Instead of I'm just going to show up here. It's not going to be much left. It's a keeper league. So I'm not going to get the knock out the park guys, they're probably kept. But, I'm going to try to make do. And if, maybe package one of the later round guys with the guy that I took there, and maybe add another receiver or something, and package something to get a running back I really like that maybe that was kept or in the higher end of the beginning of the first round. If I'm picking that late, that's really like a second or third round pick, heck, fourth round pick if you're picking 2-3 players that you can keep forever. So you're really looking at a third round pick that late. So that's definitely the approach I would take.
Yeah, so I think I'm looking at some ADPs right now, and you're looking at maybe by the time the third round starts, your running backs being Joe Mixon, Jordan Howard, maybe Freeman and Ingram and McCoy. People don't keep them because they don't want to keep them forever because they're getting up there.
Right,
but those are the kind of guys that you're looking at there. And I'm going to go with kind of a similar strategy as well. I chose Brown and Cook. I have to get one of those running backs. Yeah, if you've got Dalvin Cook.
Can I ask a question, Chris? What's Lamar Miller's ADP? Because he had a very down before.
He's at the 12-team PPR. He's at the 409.
Yeah.
See, I would aggressively attack Howard and Lamar Miller. Lamar Miller, I know every year he kind of disappoints, but he was actually doing relatively well with Watson.
Beast.
Yeah, he was doing well with Watson. People are going to sleep on him.
Yep.
I would attack him, especially in PPR. I would go for him and Howard because Howard, honestly, is a monster.
Yep.
And McCoy is one of those elite guys that I have no interest in going forward on the sole fact that the Bills are horribly built this year. He's it. No one's left.
Yeah, but I've doubted LaShawn McCoy before for similar reasons, and I'm not going to do it again.
I'm not doing that anymore.
Their best O-lineman retired. They don't have a quarterback. They lost all of their receivers. It's not even the fact that I don't doubt McCoy. McCoy will get his, but McCoy will be a high-end RB3, not because of lack of skill, but because
disagree. McCoy's going to be a top 15 running back.
Yeah, barring injury.
Closer to the season, we'll put money on it.
Yep, so me and Max are back to disagreeing. So that's great.
And all is right in the world again.
But yeah, so for me, I think you have to get that second running back at that turn, because by the time the fifth round, like the last pick in the fifth and first pick in the sixth come back to you, it's bare. And if all you have is Dalvin Cook, then you're looking at getting guys like Duke Johnson as your RB2, which I know he finished as an RB1 last year. I know he did that last year, but I don't see that happening again. But you're looking at guys like that, Ty Montgomery, Tevin Coleman, Marshawn Lynch, Tariq Cohen. These are guys you're looking at in that round, and I don't want that as my RB2. I would love it as my flex, but I don't want it as my running back too.
Right.
What's Carlos Hyde's ADP?
Right now, it is
high. It's too high. That's what it is.
I don't think so.
It is. It's the 308.
The third round, I think.
That is too high.
That's been steadily falling too, and I think that's going to continue to fall as we go through the summer.
I do like him this year, but that's too high.
That certainly is. All right, so Gary, I'm glad we talked about that for 15 minutes. He says, thanks for all your advice. You are welcome. Second question, Jeffrey. He says, where are your Dynasty rankings? I was looking to use it or a trade chart to make Dynasty trades. I love the show, especially the debate ones, but I never get to hear or see any Dynasty material. Do you kind people have these? And I want to say, yes, we are building a draft kit that's going to be awesome for this summer, and it's going to have redraft and keeper stuff in it, but it's also going to have Dynasty and IDP, and we are going to have Dynasty rankings. So that's going to be up at some point. So it's not up yet. I don't even know if it's going to be up in the next few weeks or so.
Well, let's wait till the draft happens, and we will finalize all of our lists, and we'll get them out to you guys.
We got you.
Yeah, but it's coming. It's coming. Let's go ahead and get to the news. Kicking it off here, Andrew Luck says that he has yet to throw an NFL-sized football in his rehab. Not a great sign in April. He says he's confident of his progress. I honestly thought he would have been throwing before this, because there was an alert earlier this year that said he'd been throwing weighted footballs back in like January or February.
Remember that time before last season started when I said Andrew Luck should just get traded off the Colts because he wasn't doing anything for them besides collecting a check?
Yep, remember that.
I remember that. But yeah, we don't have to get back to that argument.
It's not an argument. It's not an argument. I think at this point, and I believe one of the coaches of the Colts said, this is in Andrew Luck's head. I think he got hurt. I think he's afraid he's going to get hurt again. And I think this is solely mental, and he needs less time in rehab, more time with a therapist. In my personal opinion, I am not a doctor, but, this is what it sounds like. It's been, 2 years since he's played?
Well, I mean, he had setbacks. And, I mean, the thing is, it's crazy about the whole if it's in his head thing, because those are reports from, last year? And if it's still in his head, I mean, he's got some problems. I mean, pick up a football. This is a game you played when you were a boy, and you loved it. You had fun. I don't think it's in his head. I just think he's not comfortable.
It's the Colts making sure that their franchise quarterback will be good to go.
Yeah, and you have to take care of an asset like that. Like he is, I will never say he's not one of the, could potentially be one of the best young quarterbacks in the NFL.
He's elite. Yeah, and he has been elite.
Once.
But he has been.
Conor McGregor's mad because they took his belt away because he hasn't fought in 2 years. It's like, well, he was the best in the world. Well, you haven't fought in 2 years, are you? You were elite once. You haven't played in 2 years. Are you still elite? You're not retiring. You're just not playing.
Next thing, I honestly hadn't heard this guy's name very much. Packers wide receiver Trevor Davis was arrested for joking about smuggling a bomb into LAX this past Sunday. And really, the only reason I threw this in here, Trevor Davis is no name, completely fantasy irrelevant. But Hus, I think, is the fifth arrest. So
I already won.
It only took like a month. I bet Hus that less than 5 NFL players would be arrested this offseason, and that certainly failed really quickly.
Chris, I love your optimism.
Yeah, that's what it was. I want to believe in these guys. Orleans Darkwa visited the Patriots on Monday. We don't have any news on that quite yet. I'm guessing he didn't sign on Monday since it's later in the week. Other Patriots news, they did sign Jordan Matthews to a 1-year deal. So good to see him continue on with his career despite the injuries. I do like Jordan Matthews.
He'll be great with the Patriots, I'm telling you right now.
He should be a solid option. I still like Malcolm Mitchell, though. They still have him. He's coming back from injury. So they've got a heck amount of depth right now. Edelman's coming back. They just got rid of Cooks. I really like Edelman to bounce back and just kind of be his same player that he's always been. Hogan's going to be there. And then everybody else is just going to be, they're going to get that pieces here and there. I mean, be flexes.
They have to have a lot of depth due to all the injury history. I mean, Amendola, Edelman, Gronk, Dion Lewis. They have to have all this receiving depth, Yeah,
well, Dion Lewis actually stayed healthy, luckily.
He did last year. Yeah. Right. Yep. He certainly did last year. Odell Beckham plans to attend the Start of Giants workout, and I think by the time you hear this, he did attend the Start of Giants workouts. Yeah, so
look good.
Yeah, there we go. So he is back. The New York Giants are not expected to deal him away before or during the NFL draft.
Well, the Giants did say they'd hear offers. I mean, you got to hear an offer. Doesn't mean you're going to accept it.
Yeah, but it wasn't it made it sound like they were actively shopping him.
Well, Pat Leonard did that.
Yeah, and
Pat Leonard did that.
And if you guys want to hear more about this, listen to the episode 2 weeks ago when we had Pat Fitzmaurice from the Football Girl, Sports Illustrated, 4for4 on the show. We talked about OBJ quite a bit. Moving on here, some more Browns news. Yet again, they traded another quarterback. They traded Kevin Hogan to the Redskins for a 6th-round pick this season. Just once again affirming the fact that they're going to take a quarterback this year.
Well, they have a veteran.
It's in their blood.
Yeah. Well, not only that, they have a veteran who we know can win games for them in Tyrod Taylor. So they have no problem drafting a couple quarterbacks and seeing, what they have. They don't have to throw them right into the situation. So this is good for the Browns. They're building a good organization finally.
Dorsey knows what he's doing.
Wouldn't it be the most Browns thing for them to do all these great offseason moves and draft 2 quarterbacks in the first 4 picks?
That's a good strategy. If you take 2 of the top 10 quarterbacks in this draft and you work them out all offseason, and before the season starts, you can decide who you want to trade away, you can get good value back for that.
Because that worked amazing for Denver. I mean, not that they took 2 guys, but they had 2 young guys, competing.
Trevor Siemian, Paxton Lynch was a bust for them, but Trevor Siemian, honestly, serviceable quarterback. He did his job there.
Poorly.
It's one of those things. Poorly, Trevor Siemian's the best quarterback.
Siemian was not good.
He's the best quarterback they've had since Peyton, obviously.
Oh, but now they have a real one now.
Siemian wasn't good, but I don't know if I blame him or the offense, because that offense realistically hasn't been good in about 5 years. With no matter what quarterback, even Peyton wasn't good his last 2 seasons.
I blame him.
That's fine.
It's all his fault.
I don't want to argue.
There we go. The Saints signed another wide receiver, restricted free agent Cameron Meredith. 2-year, $10 million deal that the Bears decided not to match. So he is going to be in New Orleans. He is not going to be in Chicago anymore. A great signing for the Saints.
Oh, yeah.
You know what that means, though? Kevin White time.
Yeah, sure.
That's when you're supposed to laugh.
Yeah.
But, we talked about this 2 weeks ago with Pat. Like, I want to believe so much in Kevin White. I want to see the talent, which we haven't seen in his 4 years in the league. I want to see it. I asked Pat, do you even have him ranked, or is he so far down that he didn't even make the cut? He had him at number 100.
Yeah.
So
he was being a nice guy. Pat's a gentleman. He was being a gentleman. He wanted to rank him. So
he certainly was.
I don't think I'd rank him. He's not going to be in my rankings.
Yeah, I'm probably going to do a top 50, and he's certainly not going to be even close to that.
Yeah, I usually do 60, so 100. Pat likes it deep. Pat likes to do it deep. I appreciate that because I love
60, I guess that goes through wide receiver 5.
Right.
So I like it. Jerry Jones is going to be meeting with Dez Bryant this weekend. Probably going to ask Dez to take a pay cut.
Yeah.
There have been rumors about them releasing him before the NFL draft. That's still yet to happen. I think we can surmise from this that if Dez does not agree to a pay cut, then they will release him.
Yeah, it seems to be the writing on the wall. I mean, there was even, I think, we're referencing Pat, I guess, a lot on this. I guess because we were on the last show, and these are a lot of the same topics that we were covering. And I think Jared, I can't think of his last name, sorry. But he reported, kind of matter-of-factly, that they were going to release him. So there was a report that came out today that wasn't going to happen, that they're more than likely going to talk about it. This is all posturing, though, right? Because Dez can read this, and it's like if Dez doesn't take the pay cut, it's like, oh, Dez was the bad guy. We're releasing you now. And, yeah, this is writing on the wall. So we'll see. I mean, we've been hearing mumblings and rumblings about this for a while now. He does get paid a lot, big cap hit. He's not producing the same amount. But they do need him. I can't imagine them releasing him. I think
who's going to be their receiver? Bryce Butler just got let go, or he signed with a new team.
Right.
They need a number one, and the issue with Dez Bryant is Dez Bryant wants to get paid for a team that's really done not much. Like they haven't done much. He could go to the Eagles tomorrow and sign a 1-year, $4 million contract and get a ring. He could go to the Rams.
They don't need him.
Well, if you'd rather Dez Bryant over Mike Wallace.
That's what you were supposed to laugh, Max.
Oh, sorry. But you also got to think, Dez Bryant knows there are teams out there that will pay him, and that's the thing. They're trying to back Dez into a corner. We'll cut you, and it's kind of one of those things where it's like, all right, who are you going to sign?
Such bullies.
You'll cut me, but there's nothing. Dez has very little to lose.
He should call it a lot
to gain. He should. Because he's going to leave a franchise that they're decent, but they're not great, and he could go to a bunch of other franchises and get paid. And these franchises, like Minnesota, still has some cash. They can pay him, and that's a nice franchise to be a part of.
So we just talked about that offensive coordinator.
The Patriots still have cash. It's one of those things where it's posturing, but I think Jerry Jones is doing it wrong.
Yeah, Patriots aren't going to spend that kind of money on Dez.
No, they wouldn't.
They don't do that.
I think Dez would sign cheap with the Patriots.
Maybe. Once again, speculation, because this is completely different than what we had 2 weeks ago.
There's
Coach
the draft
speak and
weeks,
speculation.
so. Right.
Last piece of news here. Khalil Mack did not report to the first day of workouts. So a little bit of IDP news for all you people in IDP leagues. Kind of big. That doesn't mean he's not going to play, but maybe he's doing a holdout for a contract. I'm not sure. That's just, once again, pure speculation.
Don't seem to work for anyone. Who does this work for, these holdout things? It doesn't work ever, for any player, I feel like.
I think it worked for Le'Veon Bell.
No, it didn't.
It didn't?
No, he came back. Yeah, he came back, and then
he came back. He wasn't in the greatest shape.
2 games.
So, yeah, it took a couple games to get him in good shape. And Odell's like, man, I can't even afford that. I need to come back and just look like a beast, so they could just stop playing with me and pay me my money. So that's what needs to happen with Odell. But I'm digressing because it's my Giants.
I hope he walks.
Yeah.
We're going to take a quick break here and come right back with a 12-team PPR mock draft with listeners from SleeperBot.
SleeperWire is the only podcast that does 2 live call-in shows a week where we talk directly to you, the listeners. Well, we love being the most accessible and interactive fantasy show, so we're going to start early this year. This Saturday, April 14th, 3 p.m. Eastern, Dirty Jobs and John Michael will be talking rookies and Dynasty. That's April 14th, Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern. You can listen in two ways. Download the Mixlr app, MIXLR, and search and subscribe to the SleeperWire channel. You'll get a notification every time we start a live show. Or you can go to SleeperWire.com and look down a bit on the homepage to the Mixlr player. When we're live, you'll hear the audio on our homepage. Phone lines will be open for questions when we talk rookies in Dynasty live this Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern on the SleeperWire show. April 30th is the return of Metal Mock Monday. What is it? Well, Metal Mock Monday is a live radio show where we mock draft with the SleeperWire crew and listeners. There's metal music playing in the background. Sometimes I take requests. And we chat with you guys. We chat with the listeners. We take calls. It is just the best hangout on a Monday night in the off season. And mock drafting will help you win your league. The metal music is just a nice bonus. Season launch show for Metal Mock Monday is April 30th, right after the NFL draft. We'll have all the rookies in there, know where they're going. So join the SleeperWire channel on the SleeperBot app. Search for Facebook groups. You can find us at SleeperWire Fantasy Football Club. Join us on Facebook, or just go to SleeperWire.com. You'll get the details there in all those places when we start our show. Join us for the season launch of Metal Mock Monday, April 30th, only on the SleeperWire show.
All right, so we got about 20 seconds left here before the mock draft starts. We have a nearly full mock with just one computer as of right now. So picking in order, we have K Garner 16, Steve is picking second, Sig third, Draft Dad Dave, a brand new podcast, is picking fourth, Max, not Money Max, just a different Max, 5, Earl 6, Bone Soldier 7, I'm picking 8th, Hooked on a Thielen is 9, Prophet Hus picking number 10, the computer's at 11, and Money Max at 12. So we've got the 8, 10, 12 picks in this 12-team PPR.
I am not number 2. That is an imposter quick.
It is an imposter quick.
It is not me. I am number 7.
And we have an imposter Max.
You are Bone Soldier.
Yes.
That's awesome. Anyway, okay, so we've got the 7, 8, 10, and 12. So, well, first off the board, no surprise, Todd Gurley and Le'Veon Bell went second. Honestly, these first 4 running backs, you can make arguments that any of them could go number 1 overall.
Yeah.
There's
100%.
no wrong answer between Gurley, Bell, Zeke, and DJ.
Yeah, no surprises here. Elliott, I've seen him go a little bit earlier. I've seen him go a little bit later. For some reason.
Well, if you're reaching for a receiver,
but,
I could see that.
Yeah,
and
but
Zeke
all
just
of
went
guys,
3.
Yeah, all of these guys here.
And I've seen mocks with Brown and Hopkins at number 1 overall.
Yeah, I've been
David
there
Johnson picked 4. Do you guys like that?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, all of these are interchangeable. I've seen people even pick Hunt really early, like as early as 3 or 4, and you can argue all of that.
I don't like so David Johnson at 4, Alvin Kamara just went 5th. I don't like that pick.
See, in a PPR, I do. I don't like David Johnson because the state of the Cardinals, I don't think it's that great right now.
I mean, he's all they have other than Larry Fitzgerald. Sam Bradford's gonna throw the ball to him. I mean, he's everything. You know, I mean, they're gonna use him.
He is everything. But LaShawn McCoy's everything, and we consider him like a 4th round.
I mean,
pick.
David Johnson's young,
and they know his strengths, and they use them. So, anyway, 6th was Antonio Brown. Bone Soldier, which is Steve, took Kareem Hunt. And now I have the toughest choice I've had from the 8 spot, which is Hopkins or Gordon. And I'm going to go with Melvin Gordon. Love Melvin Gordon. I think he's going to be top 5 again. And I actually posted that on Twitter a couple weeks ago. Book it. Calling it right now. Melvin Gordon's going to be a top 5 running back.
That is aggressive.
DeAndre Hopkins went number 9. Prophet Hus on the clock.
Thinking about Carlos Hyde here.
Yeah.
But,
OBJ still
because I've got to
available.
take like a crap, and I was just like, man, Carlos Hyde. No, yeah.
That's
So
hilarious.
I'm going to take the fellow I like the most here, and I'm going to name his name in a second. Well, you'll see his name. So there you go. ODB.
OBJ. It's not old dirty bastard. He says OBJ. Anyways, Leonard Fournette taken by the computer at pick 11. Money Max, couple seconds here on the clock for the 12th pick, the final pick in the first round. On the turn right here.
You got that's a sick pair, man. Dalvin Cook and Jordan Howard. What are you upset about?
Jordan Howard as the first pick in the 12th, though.
What's wrong with that?
I would have taken McCoy and Freeman over.
I wanted Jordan Howard and Christian McCaffrey.
I can see your argument. I'm definitely not taking Freeman over Howard.
Yeah, but I didn't want. I wanted Howard, McCaffrey, PPR. Okay. That's what I'm looking at.
So you've got Howard here in the first round. Julio went in the second pick in the second round. Michael Thomas, I took him, so I've got Odell and Michael Thomas. First one on the board to grab wide receivers. You guys that know me, this is not a surprise. Hooked on a Thielen. He went wide receiver as well. He's got DeAndre Hopkins and Keenan Allen. And back to Chris.
And I can't believe this guy is still here with the fifth pick in the second round. I'm taking A.J. Green.
Yes, sir.
So I got Melvin Gordon and A.J. Green. I love that. Steve on the clock. Took Kareem Hunt in the first round. Takes LaShawn McCoy. Top 15. I think McCoy's going to be a 1. So 2 top 12 running backs. Pretty great.
I think McCoy will be a low end 2.
Yeah. Well, you said 3 earlier. You said high end 3, low end 2. Yeah, I got you. Earl takes Mark Ingram. Max, the other Max, that's what we'll call him, takes Christian McCaffrey. So
that guy has my team right now.
He's loading
up. My team.
He does. He's loading up on PPR guys. Alvin Kamara and Christian McCaffrey. Mike Evans goes with the 9th pick in the second round.
Where's Barkley?
He's generally around the 4th.
He should be in here already. See, if this is me, I'm taking Barkley over Christian McCaffrey. And I could see people arguing as high as Jordan Howard, Dalvin Cook. There's Barkley.
Yep, there he goes. So Sig has Zeke and Barkley.
He's not.
What was that, Max? He's not on an NFL team?
Yeah.
People are anticipating, man. Devontae Adams goes with the 11th pick in the second round. K. Garner, 16, now on the 2-3 turn. Took Todd Gurley in the first.
Unless he goes to the Browns, he's going to be...
If he goes to the Browns, that's like best case scenario.
Then they're just... what are they doing with Duke, and what are they doing with...
The Colts are a joke. They don't even have a quarterback. They don't have an O-line. The Browns have a great offense right now.
Wow.
The Browns' offense is
really they also have Carlos Hyde and Duke Johnson.
To the end of the second round. That is amazing. What do you guys think about Devontae Adams, though, in the second round? I love him. A lot of people are saying he's too high. I think he's perfect. I think he could be top 5. So the fact that you're getting him so late in the second round, I kind of love it.
With Jordy out, I could see him being top 5.
It's possible. When I do my initial rankings, I'll probably have him closer to 12, 13, somewhere around there.
13? But, man, you don't like him, huh?
No, I do. That's a wide receiver 1.
Right, but I mean, Jordy's not there, and he was a 1 last year.
I get it. And, mines are going to change over the offseason during preseason as well. But
okay,
as of right now, that's where I kind of see it. So,
4 months away.
K. Garner on the 2-3 turn. Devonta Freeman takes Aaron Rodgers to start the third round. That's early, but if you want him, you got to take him there. He's not making it back in the 4th.
Yeah. You know what? I've been in a few mocks lately where Rodgers has been dropping to the 4th, and I've been really just kind of pleased by seeing a lot of people in the community just starting to really, year after year, everybody say, hey, don't take a quarterback early because you don't need to. And you don't. You never do. But, see him fall to the 4th round, I was just kind of like, kudos, guys. You guys, everybody just showed up on nicer things and took Rodgers later. Whoever got him in the 4th round was a steal, but hey.
And that's the kind of downside about picking on the turn. If you want a guy who's going at the end of the 3rd instead of the 1st, and there are other guys that are better, but you want Aaron Rodgers, you have to take him on the turn. You have to go above that value.
Yeah, but at the same time, you're paying above value, and I mean, you guys know how I do it. I draft late. I usually try to target Stafford in like the 8th round. Last year, I was in a 2 QB league, and I came in second with Case Keenum, and I started with Derek Carr, but I ended with Case Keenum and Cousins as my quarterbacks. I had a great year.
You know what? I'm not liking my running back options here. I've got Gordon and Green, but I don't know. I feel like I should have taken McCoy in the 2nd over A.J. Green. So I'm looking at wide receiver again, and I'm going to go with Alshon.
It's a good pick.
Yep. I like that.
Alshon in the second year of that offense, I think he really pops. I can see him easily being a 1 next year.
Yeah, I can too. I've got one league where I'm going to get 2 keepers, and I'm actually going to keep Alshon in the 3rd and Ertz in the 5th. So keeping 2 Eagles, but I feel like those are both great picks. Anyways, let's catch up here. So the non-Steve quick. Took Zach Ertz with the second pick in the third round. Then it went Gronkowski. It's good to see Ertz getting picked over Gronk. I think Ertz is going to score more points. Tyreek Hill, Adam Thielen drop into the third round. Joe Mixon, T.Y. Hilton, picked by Steve. I took Alshon Jeffrey. And hooked on a Thielen took Stephon Diggs with the 9th pick in the third round. And now we are all caught up. Prophet Hus is on the clock.
And probably should do running back here. But I love my wide receivers so much. I love them so much. But I don't need to do that. So I should probably do the smarter thing. But I won't. And I'm going to take Doug Baldwin.
All right. Yeah, on the pick. Jarvis Landry. That was a quick pick right after you by the computer.
Computers are fast, man.
Yeah, the computer picks instantly.
Guys,
they're
not
quick on their
messing
toes.
around.
Yep.
It's a neural net processor, a learning computer.
And Max, doing the Max strategy, 3 running backs. Derrick Henry at the last pick in the third round. So on the turn.
So what do we like about this third round? What do we hate? Who's going too high?
I think Stephon Diggs in the third is a little rich for me. Rodgers certainly, but he's going to go in the third in most drafts.
I don't see it. It's hard for me to buy into that. I'm going to go ahead and take another receiver here.
Mari Cooper. You know who I am? This guy gets disrespected every single year, and that's Larry Fitzgerald is still on the board.
I went ahead and grabbed Amari Cooper over him. I probably wouldn't do that. And maybe I would, just because, Gruden, he's such a hype guy, you just want to believe everything he says, like he's going to win a Super Bowl, and he goes out and wins a Super Bowl. So, he's saying he want to target this guy, Mark Cooper. Jordy is there, but I don't know. He's got to finally break out, right? And
that's the hope. As a number 2 receiver, Jordy's going to be running the deep. It depends on how they use Amari. If they're going to use him as like a slot receiver, he could be massive. As a true slot. I mean, if you want to look at the fourth, though, I took Derrick Henry into the third, Golden Tate to start the fourth, then Travis Kelce off the board, then Amari. I went Golden over Amari just because I feel like there's more targets with Tate.
Yep.
I would have done the same thing.
And then right after you, hooked on the Thielen, took Deshaun Watson, which I honestly don't mind that because that man's going to get a ton of points in the ground.
But, I mean, I don't know if it's late, but I'm still not taking that early.
My pick right here is proof that ADPs have not changed enough in April because he won't be a 4th-round pick.
Damn it.
Jerick McKinnon.
I didn't take Jerick McKinnon because I relied on
draft
calculator.
I am comfortable having Gordon as my RB1 and McKinnon as my RB2.
Oh, I 100% would. And you know what? I was going to take Jerick McKinnon. But I didn't take Jerick McKinnon because I trusted that, you would just look at the calculator and just follow things like everyone else does. But no.
Right. Yep. And his name was down there because it hasn't risen.
I know.
Enough.
I had to look for him and add him in. I was going to pick him. But I thought I was going to be able to get him in the second round. So, not in the second round, in the round after the 4th. So far,
that would be the 5th.
You're still in my players. This is why I don't like picking next to you. I should have picked that. It's like for top 3 or something, for top 5. Yeah. Would have been far away from you.
And Steve is listening to us, took Larry Fitzgerald right after I took McKinnon. Earl takes Josh Gordon. Allen Robinson is taken by other Max. Draft Dad Dave, once again, what's up, man? Takes Demaryius Thomas. So he's got David Johnson, Mike Evans, Tyreek Hill, and Demaryius Thomas. All 3 of those guys can be wide receiver 1 this year.
Dig it.
Yeah, that's my favorite team so far. Yeah. Jay Ajayi went with the 10th pick in the 4th round.
The steal.
So Sig has Zeke, Barkley, Ajayi, and Gronk. So no wide receivers through the first 4 rounds in a PPR.
Well, I mean, the thing that is great about PPR leagues is you'll usually find those guys that can help you with weeks. Is just you can't plug them in and leave them in. And in PPR leagues, that's why I go for the wide receivers that I never have to take out. Regardless if they have 2-3 weeks in a row that are bad, I'm never taking them out. I don't care.
Like, I took Golden Tate in the 4th. In a PPR, I feel like Golden Tate in the 4th is it's a steal. Yeah. Because Odell Beckham isn't going to outscore Golden Tate in PPR by that much.
I mean, he should because of touchdowns and yards. He should.
He's going to outscore him by a lot.
Yeah,
but that's the thing, though. If you think about it this way, though, it's like my Jordan Howard or my Dalvin Cook or my Derrick Henry is going to blow away on paper,
I mean, I don't
whatever
like
running back you should have.
I've said this on the show
like
multiple
Derrick,
times.
so.
Dion Lewis is going to outscore Derrick Henry in every format this season if he plays all 16.
I believe that too. So I really don't like Derrick Henry. I think he's a bust. Same thing with Jarvis Landry this year and round 3. I'm looking at that. I don't like that. I don't like Josh Gordon round 4.
I love Josh Gordon.
I love Des Bryant round 5. That's sick.
Yeah, I like that too.
Chris Hogan, I think he's going to be a value. The other Max took him.
Wait, let's get back in order because I know the fans get mad when we go way out of line.
All right, so the 4-5 turn was Crabtree and Bryant. So the first 2 wide receivers to K Garner 16. Quick took Brandon Cooks. Then it went Carson Wentz. Draft Dad Dave took Lamar Miller. Max took Chris Hogan. Earl took Carlos Hyde. Steve took Russell Wilson. And I am back on the clock right here. So we are now all caught up. And, I think I'm looking at a wide receiver. And you know what? So you weren't going to go. Well, I guess you have 4 wide receivers.
Don't do it, Chris. Don't do it. Just don't get in my head on this one. You already know what I'm going to do, so just don't.
Alex Collins.
I took Jordy Nelson as my wide receiver 3. No, I'm not going to draft Alex Collins. But Hooked on a Thielen took him right before Goose.
I was going to take Alex Collins if he was still available.
You weren't going to take Alex Collins because I was going to take Alex Collins. So I'm going to take my boy, Duke Johnson.
How do you guys feel about Alex Collins as your running back 1, though?
I love him.
I think the workload's there. He's going to get the ball.
Oh, man. I'm not sold.
You didn't have him on any teams, did you?
I had him on 1.
You didn't like Case Keenum all season last year when he was a high-end QB2 the whole season last year.
It's not that. It was that Case Keenum, he was too inconsistent for me.
Except for the fact that he was more consistent than half the quarterbacks in the NFL last year.
No, he was more inconsistent than I think people remember. He had a great season, but he was not putting up 4 touchdown games back-to-back. So anyways, who's took Duke Johnson? Tom Brady with the second to last pick in the 5th. That's pretty late for him. And then Money Max, Greg Olsen, and Jared Goff on the turn. So quarterback in the 6th round, huh?
Well, Jared Goff is he's set to be huge this year.
The 6th quarterback off the board. I agree. I think he'll be top 10, but 6, that's bold, in my opinion.
It's sooner than I wanted to take him, to be honest, but the draft stock around him, as of right now, it's 12-team league, so it is deeper. The most 10-team leagues, obviously. So the draft stock around him, I'm not the biggest fan of. I was thinking about going Reed over Olsen, but I decided to skip on that. And the receivers I have my eye on, I can wait on. So it's not one of those things where it's like, I feel like with the weapons he has, he's going to be a real threat this year.
All right, so Marshawn Lynch by computer, Delaney Walker by Hoos, Tevin Coleman by Hooked on a Thielen, and I'm on the clock here. And I'm not liking a whole lot of options at this point, except for this one as my RB3. I'm going to take Dion Lewis here.
Yeah, I was going to take Dion Lewis, but I saw a couple names that I think will swing back around to me. Like that one that was just taking ahead of me. So I'm feeling sad now because Chris Thompson was just taking it. I was hoping Chris Thompson would come back to me, but there's still some names that will probably be taken by the time I'm done talking.
As the tight end 5 off the board. So you took him over Jimmy Graham, Kyle Rudolph, Jack Doyle, Evan Engram.
Yeah, I just feel like with Delaney Walker, we're always just like, oh, he's going to not be this guy, but he's the security blanket. He's the guy that's always going to be targeted. He's so good. He's red zone targeted. He's not going to lose anything. If anything, he gets a bolster with the expatriate, guy running the offense. So, I mean, I really love Delaney Walker. I love him every year. He's not a value this year for me. He's just where he needs to be as far as a guy that I like. Now, there's other guys I could have taken, Evan Engram. I could have waited on him. I could have took Hunter Henry, but not really. It looks like Hunter Henry was taken just in the same round.
The tight end 6 right after Chris Thompson.
So I screwed up. I didn't realize Jimmy Graham was on the board. Read over his name real quick. Would have taken him over Greg Olsen. Disregard everything Who's just said. Jimmy Graham's going to be a monster for Green Bay.
Nope, he will not. Aaron
down.
Rodgers has never had a tight end like Martellus Bennett before.
Look, man, Cobb's going to be a beast this year. Cobb's probably my sleeper of the
Jimmy Graham's tight end.
So far, Cobb's going to be a beast. Cobb should already be taken in this draft. Like by the time the draft rolls on, like in its real time, he'll be taken by the 6th round. Like, it's ridiculous that Cobb's not taken, and he has Aaron Rodgers. Jordy's not there. Who else is catching the ball? Jimmy Graham is not going to catch. He's not going to be the guy.
I don't. He'll get some touchdowns. I think he's going to be way overvalued. Anyways, though, let's catch up. So after Hunter Henry, it was Kirk Cousins, Darius Geis, Corey Davis, Tariq Cohen, and the last pick in the 6th round was Edelman. And then on the turn took Jimmy Graham. Then it was Robert Woods, Juju Smith-Schuster, C.J. Anderson taken by Draft Dad Dave as his running back 4. Rex Burkhead by Other Max, and Earl with the 6th pick in the 7th round is taking his time. I'm just kidding, Earl. Take all 45 seconds.
Marvin Jones, that is a sweet pick.
Wide receiver 11 or 10 or 11 last year in PPR.
Love it.
I know he and Tate finished back to back. So then Tate was the 10.
Yeah, so I mean, this is why you can wait and you can kind of shore up on your running backs. He's got Mark Ingram, Joe Mixon, Carlos Hyde. I don't really like Joe Mixon that much or Carlos Hyde, so I'm still looking at it like he's got Mark Ingram and these other guys I want no parts of, but I love Marvin Jones. Antonio Brown tandem, not so high on Josh Gordon. But, I mean, there's so many good teams right now. I think that the first guy with Gurley, Freeman, he's got Rodgers, Crabtree, Dez, and Julian Edelman. I don't like Jimmy Graham, but if he can pop and really be the guy that Max is saying, he's got a team, this guy.
He does. Yep. So anyways, after Marvin Jones, Steve took Devin Funchess, and I took Sammy Watkins as my wide receiver 4. I'm good with that. Hooked on a Thielen, took Nick Chubb. Hoos took the guy I almost took in the 7th round, Drew Brees. It's not a surprise he's fallen so far, but that's a great value.
Oh, yeah, I couldn't let him fall past that. I was going to take Ty Montgomery there and then wrap around and grab Jamal Williams, even though I think Jamal Williams will be the starter. He's the guy I'm highest on. I know people are saying, well, Ty Montgomery was there when Rodgers was there, but Jamal Williams is the guy that's got touchdowns, on the ground, in the air, and he was able to block very well towards the end of the year. So I think he's going to be a really super safe pick. And at round 8, that's insane.
All right, let's catch up here. So after Breeze by Hoos, it went Ty Montgomery, then Money Max on the turn, Jamison Crowder and Pierre Garçon. So he's got Tate, PPR Crowder, and Garçon. That is a great PPR wide receiver core. Computer took Devontae Parker, and I think that's the only time you'll see Devontae Parker go in the 8th round is when the computer picks him. Hoos took Jamal Williams. Sony Michel taken by Hooked on a Thielen. I took Randall Cobb. Hoos talked me into it. Randall Cobb in the 8th round. I was debating between him and Cooper Kupp, but I decided to go with Cobb.
See, I don't know if Cooper Kupp will be as effective this year because with Cooks being involved, I don't know. We still have Woods. They have so many weapons.
At Woods.
They have so many weapons.
I still look at Woods, Kupp, Cooks, to be honest.
I'm on the fence with it, too.
Yeah.
Really? Woods, Kupp, Cook? Because I would think it's Cook, Woods, Kupp.
Why? He's a new guy in the offense. I mean,
he's also the one with the best pedigree and the one who's proved himself the most.
I mean, Woods
but he's also gotten
the quarterback he has
less than one target multiple times.
Is that his fault, though? I mean,
no, but I don't want that on my fantasy team.
I mean, you can grab.
You're talking about Cooks.
Cooks.
You can grab Cooks in the 3rd round, or you can take Cooper Kupp in the 8th round, or Robert Woods in the 7th round. Now, who would you rather have?
I wouldn't want any of them.
You don't want any of them?
No.
With your quarterback, that connection point is real, bro. Connection points are kind of cool.
I expect Jared Goff to do what he did last year, spread the ball around. With the Rams, I would attack, obviously.
Woods was a beast, though. Woods was a wide receiver, too, all year, pretty much.
Was a beast, and I just feel like there's better talent. Sammy Watkins didn't impress me. He didn't impress me last year, dude. He didn't look great. I feel like Cooks is better than Sammy Watkins, and Cooks is very similar to Robert Woods. They're going to be running very similar routes. So I need to see.
And the quarterback likes Woods more because he knows him.
Could be. It's all speculation, man.
Anyways, let's catch up. Steve takes Jordan Reed in the 8th round. That could potentially be the Zach Ertz value of this year. If he stays healthy.
Yeah,
That's
it could
a
be
huge if.
if he stays on the darn field.
Yep. Then Emmanuel Sanders, Cooper Kupp, Kyle Rudolph, Jacksonville's defense in the 8th round. Not a computer pick. That's Chris Carson. On the turn, K. Garner 16 takes Aaron Jones and Samaje Perine. And we are only going to do 2 more rounds. We're going to do the 9th round and the 10th round because those last 5 picks in a mock draft aren't as super relevant. So about a round and a half here left to go. Sig took Will Fuller, and Draft Dave takes Josh Doxson. Other Max takes Evan Ingram, and Earl is on the clock.
All I have to say is if this is a normal draft and we have 15 rounds, if you're drafting a defense in the 8th and 9th round, I don't care who they are, stop. Think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I think these people, they're people. When you're drafting on Fantasy Football Calculator, I think you're just kind of just trying to build the best team on paper, right? Not to say that Sig and Quick has the best team on paper because they don't. They really don't. Even though they have the best defenses, but I don't know. I mean, that's the only thing I can try to defend these guys for. Because yes, that is very early. It's 15 rounds. And Jacksonville, I was very high on Jacksonville last year, but they weren't really drafted high. So I never like drafting a defense high. Same thing with quarterbacks. You can just always find a guy. Just pay attention, and you'll find a defense that's going to help you win weeks, probably help you win the championship. Just pay attention.
Absolutely. So Earl ended up taking Robbie Anderson in the 9th round. And looking at his wide receivers, he's got Antonio Brown, Josh Gordon, Marvin Jones, Manuel Sanders, and Robbie Anderson. So he can stay afloat for however many weeks until Robbie Anderson is back to his top 15 wide receiver ways.
Yeah. I mean, that's if he doesn't get slapped with anything longer. He's got felony charges, I believe.
The felony ones got dropped.
Okay. All right.
Or at least most of them did.
Okay.
How do I keep missing my picks?
Because you timed out twice, so now you're being auto-drafted.
Yeah.
This is insane. Because
that's what it does.
Was scrolling through the list. I have David Njoku queued. I'm so ready. I was like, oh, God.
You know what you can do? Here? Put players in your watch list and arrange them in order you want them. So anyways, let's catch up real quick. So after Robbie Anderson, Donta Foreman, I like that value in the 9th round. I'd rather have him there than Lamar Miller. I took Ronald Jones, Marquise Goodwin, Who's took James White, DeMarco Murray, Money got auto-drafted Cam Newton, Bilal Powell, Kelvin Benjamin, Who's took Theo Riddick, Rashad Penny, and then it is back to me. And looking at the tight ends right now, I'm not a huge fan of any of the guys. So that might be a position that I'm going to have to punt. But I'm going to go with Phillip Rivers in the 10th.
Solid pick.
I like it. I would have taken Andrew Luck there if I'd heard any good news about him.
Right, but there's just...
You know who I think is being extremely undervalued is Dak Prescott. And I know he was bad a lot of last season, but that's when Tyron Smith was out and then Zeke was out. He was great.
They were also missing another guy, right? Jesus, I'm not a big Cowboys fan.
Yeah, offensive line doesn't play into fantasy football very much. We'll have to look that up. But yeah, they were missing a couple guys, and then Tyron Smith was a huge loss. Right. Dak was a stud. Yeah. So then
he had great weeks, and then he just fizzled, and you weren't really able to use him as much.
Yep.
The show is running too long, so I'm not going to tell you how stupid you are. Just know I'm thinking it really hard.
Okay.
I hate Dak Prescott. He's my new Eric Ebron now that Eric Ebron's not on a team.
How? He's a quarterback 2 years in a row.
I don't like him. I think he is super reliant on his run game, and if it doesn't work, he's trash. And that scares me with any quarterback.
I don't know. I can't call him trash. I mean...
Well, not trash. I just think he's valued really low in this draft right now, which is kind of how I think he should be. You should be seeing quarterbacks like Stafford or Carr drafted ahead of him. But that being said, the closer we get to the season, the Cowboys are going to draw hype because they are the Cowboys. And when Des Bryant renegotiates or they just keep him, his draft stock will climb. And I don't like that because I don't want it to climb. It shouldn't climb. Where he is at this point in the season, which is very low, is where it should be in reality. Like that's
you get a lot of angry Cowboy fans at me
I love
after
Zeke.
the show, brother.
Bro, I was the one who fought for Zeke last year. I took him in the first round.
Yeah, everybody took Zeke.
Everything. Really?
No, he fell to the. No, he fell
I
to
did
the
not
second
do that.
spot.
I advised everyone not to. I think Max advised everyone to do that. I was on the
He was
board
great
where I
for
wasn't
a
touching it.
while. He was great.
Anyways, let's finish up here.
Let's finish.
All right, so after I
Big
took
finish.
Phillip Rivers at the 10:05, finishing the 10th round, Latavius Murray taken by Steve, Marlon Mack, Marquise Lee, Jimmy Garoppolo, LeGarrette Blount, Calvin Ridley in the 10th. I think that could be a steal, and Danny Amendola. So there you have it. So I'm going to read through our teams here real quick. Steve he picked at the number 7 spot. Kareem Hunt, LaShawn McCoy, Chris Thompson, Dante Foreman, Latavius Murray, and Jeremy Hill as his running backs. At wide receiver, T.Y. Hilton, Larry Fitzgerald, Devin Funchess, and he's got Jordan Reed and Russell Wilson.
Super solid. Super
I like
solid. I like it a lot.
It's got potential. I do like the Dante Foreman pick in the 9th round. I think that's going to turn out to be great. Latavius in the 10th, just in case Cook gets injured, I guess.
I think he's getting work.
Yeah, maybe the Hill in the 11th, I question.
Yeah, because it's too early because they have 50 backs and it's way too early to decide. But the years before, he led the NFL in touchdowns. I think he was like number 2 or something 2 years prior. So I mean, if Belly can recapture some of that Jeremy Hill flame, put another chip on his shoulder, and put him around 50 backs and tell him he's the worst one there, maybe Jeremy Hill's the new LeGarrette Blount.
Did you know that number 2 is not leading?
Number 2?
Yeah, you said he led the NFL. I think he finished number 2.
Well, like one of the leaders.
There you go.
Leaders. That's
There
what
you
I do like.
I
this-
forgot. I'm on the call with the professor.
Well, the speculative last round pick, Jeremy Hill, is a great pick because he could be a huge hit for you.
I'll defend this pick because the way you guys said we're cutting the draft short a couple rounds, so that I was looking at that as my 15th final pick, purely speculation, exactly what Hus said. If he can get into that system, if he can get his head wrapped around that system, he's young. I think he's got gas in the tank. I think he could do some, early season touchdown work like LeGarrette Blount did or like Gillislee did last year.
I like
the pick. It's a good pick.
Yeah, and he's your RB6. So
Yeah.
it's not like you're drafting him to even be a flex. All right, moving on. I was at the 108. So Melvin Gordon, Jerick McKinnon, Deion Lewis, Ronald Jones as my 4 running backs. I like that. And I'm not sure where Ronald Jones is going to be. He's a rookie, but he looks good. A.J. Green, Alshon Jeffrey, Jordy Nelson, Sammy Watkins, Randall Cobb as my wide receivers, Phillip Rivers, and Jack Doyle. So, Max, what are your thoughts on this one?
I like them all except for Rivers mostly. It's a well-built team. Rivers is just year to year he's inconsistent.
He is. But I
start
think with
hot
the
and
weapons this year.
I'm not judging the pick. I wouldn't mind having Phillip Rivers as my quarterback. You got him second to last round. It's great for a quarterback. There's still QBs on the board. So week 1, I would not mind rolling Phillip Rivers out there. That being said, I'm not the hugest fan of Sammy Watkins, but you addressed your receiving corps. It's obviously stacked. Your running backs, if Jones or Lewis hits, you're good. Like, you're gold. Because you have McKinnon, who I think will be fantastic, and you have Gordon, who obviously Gordon is unreal. So I think you have a very good team right there.
Yeah, Gordon is one of the reasons why I will choose to pick at the 7 or 8 spot. If I had to choose, because I want Melvin Gordon on my team. I don't really like picking in the first 3 picks because, in my opinion, you have to take a running back there because by the time it gets back to you, it's not what you want. You're not happy with your running backs at that point. But anyways.
Right.
Moving to Hus's team. So running back, Duke Johnson, Jamal Williams, James White, and Theo Riddick. So you are banking on the fact that this is a PPR league.
Well, it is a PPR league. I drafted PPR. I shored up on, the top guys. I don't think anyone's, competing with the 4 guys I have here starting. And, I like Todd Haley on the Browns. You guys heard me allude to the fact that Duke Johnson could be, possibly a featured back there. You might see Hyde relegated if he doesn't do what the coaches want to see from him. So I like Duke Johnson a lot. I love Jamal Williams. I think he's a starter. I think he's the guy that leads there. James White. Patriots always have 2 top, backs in PPR every year. Just go ahead and look at the numbers. They're there. They always do. James White's there as well. Now that Deion Lewis is not going to be there. They got Rex Burhead. They like They have James White. I really like James White. Theo Riddick is going to play his role. So yeah, it's PPR. And Drew Brees so late. Gotta love it.
Yeah, let me finish your team here. So wide receiver, Odell Beckham Jr., Michael Thomas, great wide receiver 1 and wide receiver 2 for your team. Doug Baldwin and Amari Cooper. That's a really good wide receiving core. Delaney Walker at tight end and Drew Brees in the 7th round at quarterback. So aside from not taking a running back earlier, I probably would have taken Mixon or McKinnon over Baldwin. And the Delaney Walker pick. I like the rest of it.
Fair.
I love your receivers. I mean, obviously, unreal receivers. Your running backs really concern me. Jamal Williams, as of right now, is the only one I'm confident in getting a substantial workload because Ty Montgomery has proven to be injury prone.
Right.
And I think they're tailoring Williams to be the starting back there. So I do like that pick. You got him in the 8th. It's great value. James White initially should be the lead back, but we thought that this past season it didn't work out. They bring more running backs in the fold. I'm not the biggest fan of that. Theo Riddick, I have in all of my PPR leagues every year. He's only worked out for me once.
Yep.
Not the hugest fan. Not the hugest fan of that. Duke Johnson was awful for the first 6 weeks. So I don't like your running back core at all. That being said, between James White, Riddick, and Duke Johnson, one of them should hit realistically, and that's all you need because your wide receiving core is so stacked that it should carry your team. I do love Delaney Walker. I try to get him every year.
And most likely, one of those 3 will hit a week. Yeah. So not just my stud for the season, but there's a pretty good chance that one of the 3 is going to hit each week.
I feel like he approaches running backs the way I approach receivers. I plug and play receivers. He plugs and plays running backs based on matchup, which is fine.
You guys are total opposites.
Yeah.
Total opposites. So let's get to your team, Money. So we got Dalvin Cook, Jordan Howard, Derrick Henry, and Bilal Powell, who was auto-picked for you. But Cook, Howard, and Henry at running back as your first 3 picks. Golden Tate, Jamison Crowder, and Pierre Garçon at wide receiver. So those are basically 3 guys that you can guarantee are going to be wide receiver 2 for the most part. Greg Olsen at tight end and Jared Goff at quarterback. So I think this is a great mix of running back and wide receiver for a PPR league.
To me, this is a nice competing team that needs to make trades. You got Cam Newton, you got Jared Goff. I think you can easily trade one of those guys for anything you want. Not anything, but a nice piece of something. So maybe you're trading Cam Newton for, I don't know, maybe Allen Robinson doesn't do too hot the first week or so. And maybe you trade for that or Demaryius Thomas or something like that. You can get that, and you drafted him so late. So now you're adding value to your team.
This league kind of worked out weird. This was a super running back heavy draft.
Yep.
Super. And I think most of us kind of see it tailored towards wide receiver heavy the closer we get to season because there's always running back battles no matter what.
Right.
That being said, the top 10 guys are the top 10 guys. That's why you try to load up top heavy and running back. Couldn't really do that too well. I got the receivers I wanted where I wanted. And with Cam Newton, I figured I have Jared Goff, who I feel like I can roll with the entire season. But Cam Newton is going to be enticing to any player out there. And I can look around and say, hey, you know what? Juju looked like Juju had a bad week. I know he'll be fine. I need Juju. I got Cam. And try to upgrade my receiving core a little bit with that trade.
Right. Yeah.
And Bilal Powell was supposed to be Nelson Aguilar, who would have been a plug and play.
And I love the Aguilar pick if he was there.
Yeah,
well,
I think he's having a nice bounce back year. Not bounce back but he had a decent year, but I think he'll have a better year.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, that is going to wrap it up for this PPR mock draft. So that was actually pretty fun doing one live on the air again. I think we did 5 rounds last time, which wasn't quite long enough. So this is
we definitely got to get into the thick of things. Pick some sleepers out there. Well, actually, there's some sleepers in the other rounds that, some interesting picks late. I feel like this year there's going to be some really – every year there's always good sleepers. There's good, people off the waiver wires. Benches just are never deep enough, at least not for me, which I could have.
Oh, they're not. I mean, if you just look really quick, if this was a 15-round draft.
I'm looking at guys Mohamed Sanu in the 13th. I'm just like, wow, that's crazy.
Not only that, though, but if you look at the board, Macklin's still available. I know he's still a free agent, but he's still out in the ether on the free agency. Brandon Marshall, still out there. Kevin White, we joked about it earlier, but he is still on the board. Snead. Well, I'm saying there's value. Terrell Williams. There's people you can find out there. Paul Richardson just got a huge contract with Washington.
Right.
He's available there.
All right, so a couple final things before we go. Make sure to check out our website, www.sleeperwire.com. Follow us on Twitter at SleeperWire Show. I'm on there at CMOR SleeperWire. Hus is on there at SleeperWire Hus, and Max's Twitter is coming soon, according to him. You can find us on SleeperBot at Professor Chris, Prophet Hus, and Max SW, and on the Fantasy Life app at Professor Chris and Hus the Prophet. Thanks for listening, guys. Catch you next time.
Coming soon. Money Max Twitter.